Where'd our little chat box go? Okay, there we are. Okay, so at this point, video should be on, sound should be on. Hopefully everyone can see and hear me. There is a little chat box that we can all see. If anyone's having any issues, hopefully you can hear me, you can type into it. There's also a Q&A box. You can feel free to submit questions throughout the presentation as we go. Anyone wants to, I'm going to type in here to make sure. And you should be able to see the slides on the screen. Just typed into the chat box in case anyone can't hear me. All right, thank you. Hello, you can hear me perfectly, perfect. And I'm assuming you can see the slide, should say welcome to SUNY Plattsburgh. Great, okay. I think in that case, we'll go ahead and get started. A little disclaimer, this isn't the browser I usually use, so I'm hoping that everything stays good, but it seems to be working so far, so should be okay to proceed. So thank you for being here. I'm Katie Duffy. I'm one of the transfer advisors at SUNY Plattsburgh. So we do these transfer webinars throughout the semester, and this is our last one for the spring. We do have some virtual open houses coming up for anybody who might be considering coming in the fall semester. Unfortunately, due to the the current coronavirus situation, we weren't able to have the on-campus open houses this spring. But those are coming up on April 4th and April 25th. They're going to be online. There will be different faculty breakout sessions and everything. So those would still be great opportunities to sign up for, to learn a little bit more about maybe the particular programs that you're interested in. But this session is in particular for transfer students. So we'll go ahead and get started. I can advance my slides here. All right, so that is a view of downtown Plattsburgh if you haven't been able to come up to campus yet. So town of Plattsburgh, if you haven't visited, it's kind of a small, it's a small, very like college town vibe. We're upstate New York. We're about 30 minutes from the Canadian border. We're on Lake Champlain, so Vermont is right across from us. That's downtown that you're looking at. So our campus is really right in the middle of town. Most of you are probably, if you come up to Plattsburgh, you're going to come up off of Interstate 87, which brings you into like the uptown of Plattsburgh, so where there's the mall and Target and Walmart and everything. And then our campus is really right in the middle in kind of a residential area. It's not gated off. It's not on a separate road or anything. So everything's really pretty accessible. And then this is downtown Plattsburgh, or at least part of it. Kind of runs along the Saranac River and on Lake Champlain. So that's more of the historical part of Plattsburgh. There's a lot of local food places down there, mom and pop shops. There's a place that does 28 kinds of mac and cheese. There's Greek food, Himalayan food. So Plattsburgh's really become quite a foodie destination in the last few years. So that's where a lot of students like to head out on Friday nights and weekends. Back to campus. How are my slides working out here? Okay, so that is Hawkins Hall. That's probably the building you're going to get familiar with. It's on all of our print pieces and everything. So that's one of our most historical buildings on campus. I think when Plattsburgh actually started out in 1889, we had one building, it's Hawkins Hall. So that's the pretty building that looks like a castle. So we started out in 1889 actually as a college for teachers specifically. It was what they called state training and normal school. So education was really the one thing that we did. Obviously, we've expanded quite a bit since then, but the teaching programs are still a really big draw and one of our specialties here. Since then, obviously, we've joined SUNY, so we are part of the public school system in New York. We've expanded physically in terms of the number of buildings and acres. We've got 36 different buildings, 300 acres. If you do get to come up sometime for a visit on campus, You'll get to see all the different buildings that we have. It's a pretty like small to mid-sized campus. From one end to the other, it's probably a max of about 15 minutes of a walk. So it's very feasible to get to all your classes on time. You're not taking like a bus from one end of campus to the other. You can get everywhere by walking. In terms of the population of students, we've got a little under 5,000 undergraduate students, about 4,800 right now, about 400 grad students. So depending on what programs you're interested in pursuing, you could potentially go on to get your master's degree here at Plattsburgh. Being a state school, obviously most of our students are from New York State, especially that 87 corridor, so kind of from the North Country to Albany, Hudson Valley, New York City, and Long Island. But we have students from all over the state, a lot of surrounding states as well, so particularly Vermont, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, but really all over the country. And in fact, we have students from all over the world. We actually have one of the highest percentages of any of the SUNY comprehensive colleges for international students. So right now, I think we've got about 66, somewhere between 66 to 70 countries represented. Last few years, our two top countries for international students have been Vietnam, followed by Ethiopia. So really students from all over the world, which is, I think, pretty remarkable. About 30% of our students identify as being from a diverse background, and almost half of our students are first generation, which means that they are the first in their family to attend college. So that's really great as well. Our regionally accrediting body is the Middle States Association. In addition to that, many programs will carry their own program-specific accreditations. So that's Hawkins Hall. That's our pond. It's very pretty, and I'm hoping that shortly we will be able to have on-campus visits up and running again soon. Okay. So transfer students. We bring in not exactly as many transfer students as we have incoming freshmen, but it's a pretty good number. About 37% of our incoming class, so over a third of our incoming class each year is new transfer students. We've got about 550 transfer students each year, really from all different walks of life. So we have transfer students coming in, who've just earned their associate's degree and they're looking to complete their last 2 years for their bachelor's. We have transfer students coming in with, maybe they've done one semester at college. We have transfer students who, maybe attended college 20 years ago and are coming back for a degree. Students coming back for a second degree, third degree. Students who are already students who've been working for years. Students who are coming back and doing school part-time. So we have transfer students from all sorts of different backgrounds. About 20% of our 2019 class identifies as being Black, Hispanic, Asian American, Indian, Native American, Hawaiian, Pacific Islander. So that's kind of the makeup of the demographics. For transfer students specifically, the top majors that they're looking for, generally accounting is popular, both our on-campus and our online accounting program, our nursing RN to BS program, psychology, anything within the School of Business and Economics, criminal justice is always a popular one, social work, biology. Undeclared, if you're coming in with, usually less than about 2 years of credits, you can still come in undeclared as a transfer student, as long as you haven't, exceeded about 54 to 57 credits. You could potentially come in undeclared, especially if you're coming in like after 1 year of school or so. That is our transfer population at a glance. Types of different transfer programs that we offer. So we have really 3 different formats that you can do our programs in. Obviously the main campus in Plattsburgh, New York, that's where we have the majority of our programs. So we have, I'll talk a little bit more about what we offer a little bit later on, but we have over 60 different majors on campus. So pretty much anything, any program that we offer, you can do that at the main campus in Plattsburgh. We do have a collaboration with our branch campus at SUNY Adirondack in Queensbury, New York, where we offer 4 different completion bachelor's programs. And then we have 2 programs that are offered entirely online. They're kind of set up as completion programs, and that is for online accounting and the RN to BS in nursing only. We'll go into each one of those a little bit more. So just a little bit about applying. So just before I get too far into this, we are rolling admissions, which means that we will continue to review applications basically up until the start of a semester or until a certain program has filled up. So we are still reviewing applications for the fall semester at this point. If you're looking to apply, you haven't started yet, you can still submit an application and be reviewed. Pretty straightforward application process. We need an application form, so either the common application or the SUNY application, and we have links to both of those right on our website. Either one's fine, we have no preference. You want to submit your transcripts from all colleges attended, so any college that you've attended post high school, just send all of those transcripts in to us. We do need a complete record of all of your colleges, whether you think the credit is going to transfer or not. If you attended and you withdrew, this college should still be able to provide some sort of record of a withdrawal. So you want to send in all of your transcripts. If you have less than 24 credits earned post high school at the time that you're applying, so that's 24 credits earned after you've graduated from high school. If it's less than 24, send us your high school information as well. So that includes your final official high school transcript, should have your graduation date on it, and official SAT or ACT scores. So you'll need to be evaluated on your high school information as well as the first, the initial credits that you've done. You can apply for either the fall or the spring semester. So fall starts in end of August. You can apply for any major. All majors start in the fall. Most majors you can start in the spring as well. There are a handful of exceptions, but most majors you can start in the spring, which is January. There are a couple of majors that you can apply for during the summer term. It's pretty limited to our online programs, the online accounting or the online RN to BS in nursing. And I have a question coming in through chat. If you apply through the Educational Opportunity Program and don't get accepted through the program, can you still be considered? You can be if you don't necessarily qualify for the Educational Opportunity Program. If that was something that you had originally applied for, you can request to be reviewed for traditional admissions. So yes, just because you don't necessarily meet the qualifications for EOP doesn't mean you can't be reviewed traditionally. Oh, I kind of got ahead of myself a little bit. Application dates and deadlines. So I'll start with the fall and summer recommended application dates because that's what's coming up soonest. We recommend for summer and fall that applications be in and completed by March 1st. Obviously, we're past that point, but you can still submit your application since we are rolling admissions. I would just recommend as soon as possible. March 1st really just puts you on a good timeline to get everything done prior to the start of the semester, so you're not crunched for time, so that we have time to put together a financial aid package for you, do your credit evaluation, you can sign up for orientation, get course advisement. The financial aid office recommends that if you're going to apply for financial aid, that you submit your FAFSA around the same time that you submit your application. Generally, that can be as early as the middle of December if you start that far in advance. Really, as soon as you're submitting your application, you should be submitting your FAFSA along the same time. Our recommended deposit deadline is May 1st. That is the date by which we are asking you to make a decision one way or another. If you've decided that you are going to commit to SUNY Plattsburgh, you would submit $250. It goes towards your overall bill for the upcoming semester. Side note, this year we have made an extension on that deposit deadline to June 1st, just due to all of everything that's going on. I think, that actually came in as a question. Will the commitment date be put? Yes, yeah. It got pushed to June 1st. So I think that was just decided upon. But yeah, June 1st this year will be the deposit deadline. So we did extend it a month due to the coronavirus situation. Spring semester. So as I said, most majors you can apply for the spring as well. Those dates obviously are just a bit earlier, so you want to have your application in by November 1st. So like if you're looking at starting in January 2021, you'd want to have your application in by November 1st this year. File the FAFSA around the same time, and then submit your admissions deposit by December 1st. I'm actually going to answer your question in the chat just so that it's kind of like there and in writing. All right, there it is. It's in the chat. Says yes, the deposit deadline for fall 2020 has been extended to June 1st. So that is for this year only. Okay. Requirements and scholarships. So this is kind of what we're looking for in the average student. Again, this is just a snapshot of what the average transfer student has coming into SUNY Plattsburgh that's accepted. Some programs may have their own particular requirements, but across the board, most transfer students are coming in generally somewhere between a 2.6 to a 3.3 cumulative college GPA. And when I say cumulative, we do look at all of your transcripts and we average those together. So the cumulative GPA is what we use to make a decision. If you need to submit high school information, if maybe you're under 24 credits, then your high school information basically needs to be in line with what an incoming freshman would have. So that's somewhere between an 85 to a 92 GPA, somewhere between a 1060 to an 1180 SAT score. That's between math and critical reading. Or somewhere between a 21 to a 25 on the ACT, if that is the test that you took. Some majors, as I mentioned, they do require a minimum GPA or certain prerequisite coursework, especially if it's a completion program, you know, like one of our online programs or something offered at the branch campus. Those are looking for certain prerequisites to be eligible. Some majors do have minimum GPA requirements that you need to make sure that you're meeting. So if there's a particular program that you have a question about, please contact me or the admissions office, and we can let you know that. If you're on the higher end of those numbers, there's a great chance you might qualify for some sort of merit scholarship. You don't have to send in a separate application for merit scholarships if we review your application for eligibility at the point of acceptance. So if you're eligible for something, you'll get notified generally within about a week of your acceptance. All right, transferring credits. I know this is always a fun question. Oh, I just saw that I have a question in the Q&A box. I will check that in a second. So we do the credit evaluation generally within about 2 weeks of the acceptance. So that's your timeline. You don't have to have a deposit submitted before you get your credit evaluation. We complete that, again, usually within about 2 weeks of your acceptance. We can take a maximum of 67 credits from a 2-year school. We can take a max of up to 84 credits from a 4-year school. So 84 is the absolute max number of credits we can take. You know, you have to have at least 36 credits through Plattsburgh to earn a bachelor's through us. We can include in that any kind of advanced credit that you might have had through high school. So you might have taken college credit through your local community college during high school. Send us those transcripts. Maybe you took like AP exams, IB, anything like that. Send us those official test scores. We can generally award credit for that. We can also award some military credit if you get what's called like a JST. I think it's a joint services transcript. You can send that to us. We'll take a look at that transcript to see what we can bring in for credit. If you have met the SUNY General Education Series, say you're at a community college and you've earned your associates and you've met the SUNY Gen Ed series, which is usually like basic math, basic English, and like 5 other categories, things like science, art, humanity, American history, Western Civ. We will waive the rest of the Plattsburgh requirements with the exception of like one global issues course that we have every student take through Plattsburgh. So if you come in with your SUNY Gen Ed series mid, that's pretty much a quarter of a bachelor's degree completed right there. Okay, I will check the Q&A. Can one request a transfer credit review after the initial one? Okay, yeah, so the question is asking basically like if you have your first credit evaluation done, and it sounds like if there's changes or you have additional coursework or credits that you want added to that maybe you didn't submit at the time, yeah, you can, anytime you submit like a new transcript or test scores for credit, CLEP, anything like that, that'll come into us and we'll take a look, we'll basically kind of update the evaluation to take that into consideration, see if it's something that we can transfer in. So yes, basically as long as you send anything new to us or anything that we haven't already received, we can update a credit evaluation. So I hope that answered that question. Okay, course registration, also fun. So transfer students, generally the way that you will sign up for your classes is by being in contact with your department chair. Particularly, especially if you're in an online program, so if you're online accounting or RN to BS, obviously you're not expected to come to campus to sign up for classes, so you'll be in contact with your department. Anybody coming in the spring semester, which starts in January, if you're coming to the main campus, we do not have a formal orientation session for the spring. So you will be in contact with your department chair prior to the start of the semester for course advisement, and then they give you a registration pin and you can sign up for your classes. We do have orientation sessions for the fall semester. So we have a transfer specific orientation session on campus here in Plattsburgh. If you're coming up for the fall semester, basically you come up, they build an advisement and registration session right into that. You should leave that with your schedule in hand. Branch campus, if you're enrolling in any of the programs at the SUNY Adirondack campus, they will have their own orientation dates at SUNY Adirondack that you can sign up for. And again, they will also build an advisement and registration session right into that. But we do give transfer students the opportunity to get in touch with their department chair even prior to orientation. So I think starting as early as the end of May, you can actually get in contact with your department chair. They can see your credit evaluation as long as you've submitted your admissions deposit. They can start to give you course advisement, and then registration opens up in June. And then the actual orientation session, at least for the main campus, is in July. So you'll be able to come up and you can have that all in place. You will get, they'll give you a registration pin, which allows you to go online and start signing up for classes. I think more questions come in. Will this recording be released for future note-taking purposes? It is being recorded, and I believe the link will be sent out generally within a couple days of the webinar. So you should be getting it. If for some reason you don't, please email me, and yes, we will make sure that you get the link. Okay, there's another question about retaking. Can you retake a course that might be bringing your GPA down if you get basically if you get a higher grade? You can, yeah. If you retake a course, generally, as long as you do better in the course and it's the same class, that will actually help to raise your GPA faster because we do replace the grade. Right, we wouldn't necessarily know that you're retaking it unless you tell us or unless it's listed as in progress on your transcript. We will need final transcripts at the end of whatever classes that you, like if anything that you have in progress when you apply, you're going to need to submit a final transcript. So at that point, the GPA should be recalculated, but plan on sending a final transcript anytime you have your courses completed, if there's anything in progress at the time that you're applying. I've got a whole bunch of boxes on my screen. Hoping you just see the actual slide, not like the little Zoom boxes that I've got going on here. Experiential learning. So regardless of which major you're in or what format you're taking your classes, whether you're in the online program or you're on the main campus or you're at our SUNY Adirondack campus, there are experiential learning opportunities across the board. So for example, even if you're in our online RN to BS program, there is a clinical component that you will typically do in the last semester, last year of your program, you do work with someone in our nursing department to get experiences that are close to you. So you're not, necessarily expected to come up to Plattsburgh to do your clinicals, but they'll work with you. We have an IBM cohort, especially for like our online accounting students. If they want to do an internship, we can help make that happen. Obviously, if you're on campus, there's a lot of opportunities. For anyone at our branch campus in Queensbury, there are a lot of internships down in the Albany area. On campus, tons of experiences right on campus in the Plattsburgh area. We have the Lake Champlain Research Institute. Like if you're in the sciences, they have water vessels that go on Lake Champlain. They do water quality sampling. They hire students throughout the year and the summer. We have a traumatic brain injury center on campus where our psychology students can get clinical experience. There's the Center for Cybersecurity and Technology. You can do a residential semester up at Minor Institute in Shazy and kind of spend your day taking classes and then out in the field doing research. If you're in the business programs, you have Bloomberg Terminals, which basically provides you with access to real-time financial data that you can use for projects in the classroom. So really, regardless of what major or what format you're doing your program, there are definitely ways to get hands-on learning, and that's something that we really stress, something that we really emphasize at Plattsburgh. It's kind of an essential component of the curriculum. Career outcome. So about 90% of our graduates they're purposefully engaged in work related to their field of study or in graduate study or service within about 6 months of graduation. So those outcomes, that's information that has been compiled by our Career Development Center. So we're really proud of those numbers. That's across the board. Of course, each major kind of varies a little bit. But across the board, I mean, that's 90%. So our students are definitely seeing results. They're getting hired, they're getting placed, they're going into graduate studies upon graduation. Career Development Center is a great resource on campus. They'll help you with like career research and planning. They'll also help with grad school applications. But you can also access them through online resources. So if you're an online student, you have access to their services as well. They do visits to the branch campus throughout the semester. So they serve all of our students. And they're a great help in terms of internship opportunities as well. Any job positions, whether it's on campus, whether it's in the Plattsburgh community, nationwide, you have access to this thing called Handshake, which is a database that shows all of those different opportunities. So that's the platform that we use for our students. And I believe you have access to that as an alumni as well. If you're on campus, they're always doing something cool each semester. I think they'll do things where like they'll shut down JCPenney's in the mall for a Sunday afternoon and you get a huge discount on top of stuff that's already on sale. So students can start to build a professional wardrobe. They have an internship shuttle, which you can apply for if you are coming up to campus and you have an internship in the Plattsburgh area, but you don't have your own transportation. You can apply to get free transportation to and from your internship site, which is really nice. So don't wait to see them right until like you're looking to graduate. Go and see them like as early as you're on campus, because they're really here to help you throughout the whole time that you're a student, not just when you're looking to leave. Okay, so I'm going to kind of break down the different formats that we have our programs offered in. So the online programs, we have 2 programs that are completely online, and they are set up really as completion programs. So they are online accounting and also the RN to BS in nursing majors. So in order to be eligible for those programs, for accounting, you should have, don't necessarily have to have your associate's degree, but you should have about 2 years of credit, so about 60 credits or so. And you should have most of the foundational business courses, so at least financial and managerial accounting. Some programs, some schools call them principles of accounting 1 and 2. If you have things like macroeconomics, that's helpful. The RN to BS in nursing, so that is a completion program for students that have an associate's degree in nursing. So you have to have your associate's in nursing or be eligible for your RN license in order to go into that program to complete your bachelor's. If you do not have your associate's in nursing, you will need to get that first. These are offered different formats, but many of our online courses use Moodle. The faculty are accessible. They are the same faculty that are teaching these classes on campus, so they're real people and they're there. They do a great job, really making sure that they are taking care of their students who are doing online classes. The point is not to make you feel like it's this kind of industrial, online, untouchable thing. Like, there are people, there are real professors behind the curriculum, behind the coursework. There are people that you can contact. You have access to advisement, same as any students online. Same as any students on campus. So please, do not hesitate to reach out to your faculty members, to your advisors. They are here for you. They want to make sure that these programs are, successful and helpful. And I think they have really been showing that they have been. I think the students who have been enrolled in these programs have really enjoyed it, have enjoyed the flexibility that is offered to them, and also the connectivity that they feel with the faculty who are running these classes. Oh, before I get off of that, sometimes I have the question, like, what do I necessarily need to be able to do an online program? Not really much in the way of equipment. Obviously, you need a computer, you need a stable internet access. They do recommend having a, like a general Microsoft Office suite, a browser, standard browser like Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer. There's sort of an assessment tool that we have online on our website that you can kind of go through it to see if you would be a good candidate for online learning. But we have online learning support specialists, so there are many resources for students who are looking to do programs online. The branch campus. So that is a picture of SUNY Adirondack. So they are located about 100 miles south of us in Queensbury, New York. So about an hour and a half south of Plattsburgh, at the SUNY Adirondack campus. And we offer 4 bachelor's programs there. They're mostly set up as completion programs. So really, in order to be eligible for this, you would need to have about 2 years of credits, and then certain prerequisites depending on the major you go into. One of them is the RN to BS in nursing, which is offered kind of as a hybrid. Many of the courses are online. There are some that are offered as a hybrid on campus at Adirondack. Same as our online RN to BS in nursing. In order to be eligible, you need to have your associates in nursing first. But then we also offer criminal justice. We have psychology, and we have the business administration programs. Those are on-campus programs, so you would not be able to complete them online. But many students find it, very feasible to fit these in while they're working. Most of these classes meet 2 days a week. So, like for psychology, they will typically meet on Mondays and Wednesdays. Business usually meets Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then the criminal justice classes are usually in the evening. Nursing, as I said, most of that coursework is online, but there are some courses that are offered hybrid at the SUNY Adirondack campus. They have an orientation session, I think, for each semester that you can sign up for, where they will go through the whole advisement and registration session there. We have advisors. We've got Plattsburgh advisors housed at that campus that will work with any students looking to enroll there. Internship placement. So, as I kind of mentioned earlier, there's plenty of internship opportunities in the Albany area that we have for students in our SUNY Adirondack programs. If you're in the RN to BS program and you need the clinical component, again, you'll work with our department to get those experiences where you're located. There's actually 8 different orientation sessions for new students to kind of go over the different resources that are available to you, sign up for your classes, meet the faculty. The professors, they are SUNY Plattsburgh professors. It's the same curriculum as our main campus program. So it's a great opportunity, especially for students who are in that area. Small class sizes, you have access to advisement, the career workshops, access to both Plattsburgh and SUNY Adirondack resources. So you really kind of get the best of both worlds. Any questions? My slide change here. There we go. Okay, so the different majors that we have at the main campus, and I think at this point most of the presentation will really kind of be centered around the main campus, and if you're planning on actually coming up to the Plattsburgh campus. But different programs that we have all the different majors at Plattsburgh at the main campus, over 60. They're divided into 3 different divisions. So one is the School of Arts and Science, and that's the biggest one. So that's got all the fine arts programs, social sciences, things like criminal justice, psychology, sociology, all the arts and humanities, and all of the science and technology and math courses programs. We have 18 different programs within math and sciences. We've got a huge biology department that has biology. It's got biomedical sciences. It's got med tech, cytotechnology. There's the Center for Earth and Environmental Science with many different programs. There's robotics is one of the newest programs, and we have a computer science department as well with 3 different majors. And then we have the School of Education, Health, and Human Services. So this has some kind of unique programs. Our teaching programs, anything in adolescent or childhood education, those are combined programs where you get your bachelor's but also your master's. There's communication sciences and disorders, which combines elements of audiology and speech pathology. We do have a grad program in speech pathology if you potentially want to go on to apply to that. We have expeditionary studies. Is a pretty fun program. They basically use the outdoors as their classroom. They take classes in things like kayaking, camping, hiking, skiing, snowboarding. So that's a pretty cool major. We are, I believe, the only SUNY school that offers nutrition and social work at the undergraduate level, so that's something that's unique to Plattsburgh. And then fitness and wellness leadership combines elements of health science and business, so that's they have different tracks too, depending on like what career interests you have. If you want to go into something like physical therapy, or if you're interested more in like the business side of things, or athletic coaching or nutrition, there's different tracks you can go into. And then we have our School of Business and Economics. We talked about some of these programs already, like accounting, but obviously we have accounting as an option on campus. It's not just the online major. There's 11 different programs. So business administration, accounting, economics, finance, hospitality is a popular one. Global supply chain management is a pretty unique one. It's basically getting goods from point A to point B cheaper and faster than your competitor. It's pretty feasible to start in one of these majors in business and do a double major with any of them and still be able to graduate on time because there's so much overlap in all of the different core classes. They also have an internship coordinator specifically dedicated to business students, which is a really, really nice resource. Okay, so yeah, so the rest of this will primarily be relevant, I think, if you're looking to come to the main campus. Opening week, if you're coming to SUNY Plattsburgh for the fall semester, that starts, I believe it's like the last week in August. It's one of the last weeks in August. So your move-in day is going to be on a Friday. Classes start on a Monday, so you have that whole weekend to kind of move in, get adjusted. You'll move into one of our 12 residence halls. We've got 12 res halls. 2 are reserved specifically for upperclassmen. So depending, on what year you're coming into, you might want to opt for those. 2 are freshmen only, and then the rest are all just kind of mixed. There's high rise, there's low rise, there's suite style. The earlier you get your housing application in, the better your chances are of getting what you want. Every floor, every building will have a CA, which is a community advocate. That's someone that's there to kind of puts events on for their floor people, make sure that everyone's doing well and adjusting well. There's a lot of activities going on and off campus, especially during opening week. There's music nights, there's movie nights. You probably go exploring around Plattsburgh. Take care of any last minute items. So there's most of the offices will have different hours during opening weekend. So most of us are open at least for a few hours. Maybe that Saturday, that Sunday, there's a last minute advisement and registration session the Sunday before your classes start if you need to make adjustments to your schedule. Financially, I think student accounts are usually open for at least a few hours over the weekend. Admissions is usually open for a few hours that Sunday. So you can take care of your last minute items. You'll get your ID card, which gives you access to your building. It also gives you access to your meal plan. There's a bunch of different meal plan options that you can choose from. a lot of different food options on campus. I promise you, you will not go hungry. I had a question. Yes, sir. Is housing restricted by age? I don't know if there's exactly a restriction. I mean, 2 buildings are specifically freshmen only, so coming in as a transfer student, you would not be in those. Generally, they aim to match students up who are like the same age. You know, not a huge difference. You can put in any request in your housing form that you want. If you are, you know, if you're looking to room with someone of a certain age group, you can put that on your application. And I think they take a look at all the information on your form anyway. And, you know, if you're a little bit of an older student, they're generally, they're not looking to put you in with an 18-year-old. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. They do try to match up by age as closely as possible. And you can always, if that's a point of concern, and you can certainly, again, you can request for upperclassmen housing, which also includes graduate students. So possibly more in the age range that you're looking for. And you can put a note on your form as well. But they try to match students up by age. Support. So there's a lot of academic support available for students. Professors, obviously, usually your first kind of go-to, and they have office hours that you can go to them during the week. Open door if you're having any concerns about the curriculum. Just go introduce yourself to them, especially during like the first, you know, couple weeks of classes, because the nice thing with having like the small class sizes here at Plattsburgh is that you are very likely to have the same professor a couple of times throughout your career as a student. They're a great resource in terms of keeping you in mind for like internship opportunities or networking. So start to develop that relationship early on. You know, it's a similar dynamic to high school where like your teachers, like they knew you, they knew your name, they knew if you were in class, you knew them. It's the same dynamic here. Like you're not going to get lost in the crowd. So take advantage of that. That dynamic. Everyone's assigned an academic advisor, and this is something I think we do a little bit differently maybe than some other schools. Your advisor is going to be someone who is a faculty member within your major. So it's someone who really knows that field inside and out, you know, as opposed to sort of just someone from a general academic advising office. We do have academic advising, and they have their own purpose, but your specific advisor is going to be someone from within your particular program. There's the Learning Center located in the library. They offer free peer tutoring in many different subjects. You can go to them. They'll help you set up whatever you need. There's also student support services and student accessibility services. So if you were receiving certain services or accommodations, maybe at your previous institution that you want to keep receiving at Plattsburgh, be in contact with them and they will help to coordinate those for you. There are tons of resources here. You just have to, you know, not be shy and reach out and get the support that's available. Getting involved. There are many different clubs and organizations, so it's not just all about classes, but there's a lot of different ways to get involved on campus outside of the classroom. They've got a big club fair that they put on at the beginning of each semester, so there's a lot of recreational clubs. There's a lot of There's a lot of clubs that are centered around different like career interests in different majors. There's a lot of cultural clubs. So a lot of different opportunities for students to get involved. There's a lot of different Res Hall events if you really like the events that are kind of getting put on for you and you consider yourself to be a social person. You might want to think about potentially becoming a community advocate a little bit later on. You can actually get, there's a nice financial perk there. I think it's like free room and a reduced meal plan. You can also start your own club here on campus if you want to make your own mark at Plattsburgh. Go right ahead. The Student Association will be more than supportive of that. If anyone's thinking about playing on a sports team, we have 18 different NCAA Division III teams. If you are thinking about playing on a sports team, please contact the coaches sooner rather than later. You can go on to the athletics part of our website. There's a recruit form that you can fill out. All of the coaches' information is listed there by team. There's a lot of club and intramural sports that you can join if you want to get involved, but not necessarily on the intense level of a D3 team. There's a lot of facilities for you to just kind of use, stay active. There's an indoor rock climbing wall. There's a fitness center with a lot of great equipment. Or if you'd just rather be a spectator, the games are always fun. They actually reserve a certain number of seats, I think, at each home game for students that are free. So take advantage of that if you want to. Hockey games are huge here, I think, because we're so close to the Canadian border. It's just kind of part of the culture. But we've got lacrosse, we've got basketball, we've got soccer, track. There's a bunch of different sports teams. So a lot of things to choose from or to watch. All right, we talked about the different clubs and organizations that are available on campus, but as you get closer to graduation, start thinking about really what kind of leadership skills you can take away from, not only what you've been doing in the classroom, but really getting involved with these different organizations and kind of taking advantage of these opportunities. I think you'll find that it really kind of enhances your resume and gives you kind of an additional skill set to offer when you do eventually go off to start a career or you're looking to apply to grad school. Maybe you've been involved with a club since you set foot on campus. Think about later on becoming president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, get that experience. You can get involved with the Student Association, which is like our version of student government. Project Help will connect you with different volunteer opportunities in the Plattsburgh area. Res Life, as I mentioned, you could potentially become a community advocate. There's all sorts of work opportunities on campus, work study, regular part-time jobs, all different departments. And there's Greek Life. There are about 24 fraternities and sororities that are officially recognized by SUNY Plattsburgh. So if you do want to participate in Greek Life, you can. They will typically pick one charity that they spend the year doing a lot of fundraising for. They get very involved with campus events, and they do each have a staff or faculty advisor that they're checking in with pretty regularly, I think at least once a month. There's many different honor societies that you can join here at Plattsburgh as well. All right, study abroad. So this is fun. Hopefully for the fall, everything gets back and running and things are kind of back to normal, so you can take advantage of these. But we have a lot of opportunities for students to do study away or study abroad opportunities. We have programs Australia, England, Japan, France. But the nice thing about being part of the SUNY system is that you have access to basically all of the exchange programs within SUNY. So there's over 500 different locations throughout the SUNY system. So that means that if Albany or Oneonta had a program that you wanted to participate in, you can do that. They can be short-term, they can be long-term, whatever you're comfortable with. You can do a full semester. Some programs it's a little bit difficult to do a full semester abroad. So they'll typically have an option where they can do like a short-term thing. Maybe it's a couple weeks over winter break. Maybe it's a faculty-led program later on in the spring semester. So there's a lot of opportunities for students. Have that conversation with your academic advisor sooner rather than later if you know that's something you might be interested in, because they can help you with like the scheduling and everything so that it's most doable for you. We also participate in something called the National Student Exchange, which is basically a domestic exchange program that allows you to go see different parts of the country for a little while, down south, out west, Hawaii, wherever you want to go, and pay Plattsburgh tuition. So start thinking creatively. I mean, it's a great way of checking out possibly a graduate school if you're thinking about maybe applying and attending as a student there. Get kind of a sneak peek. And we have a great study abroad office that will help you sort through all of these different programs and find something that's going to work for you and make sure that you're prepared. And they also help you adjust when you're coming back, which is equally important. And I think people forget about that part of it. Graduation already. So depending on the length of your program, many of you will be here for 2 years. Some of you might find that you're here for 3 years. It kind of depends on your program, depends on what you have coming in. But it goes by really quickly. And what I would hope that you would take away from today's session, and hopefully if you ever get to come up to campus and kind of get a feel for the vibe of things, you're really going to get out of your experience what you put into it. Probably many of you know that by now, especially if you've been to college, 1 or 2 colleges before. But certainly we have all the resources and the support and the staff behind you to be successful upon graduation. I think our records really kind of speak for themselves. But it is obviously about kind of becoming your own best advocate, taking advantage of what is offered to you. But if you do that, you should be very well set up to be successful upon graduation. our social media slide. Yeah, so we have quick plug for our social media platforms. These are fun. We have platforms on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Just a nice way of staying connected with us. We repost stuff there from current students. We put information about events that are coming up on campus. If you do a search for Platts Life, you'll actually see a lot of Plattsburgh posts, both from campus and from students. We actually had a moose near campus the other day, which was kind of exciting. Yeah, so those are all listed on our website. And if you ever get to come up to campus and you take a picture and you hashtag it with Platts Life, we do send you some free stuff in the mail, so that's always fun. And that is the end of the presentation. So I'll stay on for a few more minutes. I'm not sure what time it is, but I will stay on for a few more minutes for any questions that might come in. I think I've got my Q&A box. I don't see anything there. Let me see if there's anything in the chat. I can pull it up. Nothing yet. What time is it? And I think I mentioned this at the beginning, but we do have some virtual open houses that are coming up. The first one's going to be on April 4th. The next one's going to be on April 25th. You might have received emails about those, or you can go on to plattsburgh.edu, and if you hit visit us, you'll see the link to register for the online open houses. So those will be live presentations. There's a general presentation, which is fairly similar to what we did today, but more importantly, there's breakout sessions that I think you'll benefit from that have different faculty members there. So you've already received a lot of the general information, but those are great to go to. You can get a lot of information right from the faculty members about programs that you might be interested in. Oh, I do see a question. Let's see. Student that have previous degrees, does SUNY Plattsburgh hire tutors or TAs for work study? That is actually, yeah, through the Learning Center, you can actually, you can be a tutor. I think you just need to have like a recommendation from a professor or something. That's definitely something that you can do, and they do pay. So that's a great work opportunity. But back to the open houses, yeah. So April 4th or April 25th, sign up. You know, you can do it from the comfort of your home. I think everyone's home these days. But we'll be having the live sessions, especially with the faculty, which should be beneficial for everyone. And hopefully towards the end of the spring or summer, hopefully we'll be back up and running with the on-campus visits. It would be great if you can come up to campus. I'm hoping everything kind of gets back to normal sooner rather than later. I know we're all in the same position, but we want to see you on campus. Okay. Oh, question. Okay. What is the meal plan like? There are different ones. There's a couple different options. So as a transfer student, you have the ability, I think, to choose like what you think you'll want. If you're coming in as a freshman, they make incoming freshmen, they have to have the unlimited meal plan for at least like their first semester, which they want to make sure, you know, first time college students, they're not concerned about running out of food. I think generally with transfer students, the idea is that you've probably been used to this for at least a little bit. You know, so you can choose what you like. There's an unlimited meal plan, which gives you an unlimited number of swipes in any of the buffet style dining halls. You also get a certain number of retail dollars that you can use towards any of the retail places on campus. So that's like Subway, Tim Hortons, Einstein's Bagels, the Sundowner, which makes great food to order. So the unlimited meal plan is actually there's a ton of, it's probably the best value of any of the meal plans on campus, and I promise you will not go hungry. So that's the one that all the freshmen have to get, that at least that first semester, and then they can kind of pare down from there. But that's available for transfer students as well. It's a great option. But you can also choose different packages, which are you know, maybe where there's like it's a certain number of swipes or a certain number of retail dollars per week, different combinations. So there's different packages. Kind of, you start out, there's the unlimited plan, and then you can kind of pare down from there. And there are, like, if you end up living off campus, if you're eligible to live off campus, you can get a meal plan as an off-campus student. So it's kind of nice just to, you know, let us do the cooking and you don't have to worry about it. And as far as the food, I mean, there are many, many different options in the dining halls and the retail places. So there's vegan options, there's vegetarian options. They're great about working with students if you've got any kind of food allergies or sensitivities. And of course, you do have all the staples like pizza and pasta, burgers. So there's something for everyone. Another question here, I think. If you register to become a non-matriculated, can you switch to a transfer? You can, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I mean, I'm not sure which program you're applying for, exactly what the circumstances are, but yes, you can. If you applied as a non-matriculated student, like through the registrar's office, but you actually want to enroll into a degree program, you want to be a degree-seeking student, yeah, you can submit. You need to submit an application as a transfer student. How can you switch between full-time and part-time study? That's a little bit past. So for admissions, I mean, it's not that huge of a, like, I would say select on your admissions application your original plan. Like, if they're asking you if you want full-time or part-time, select whichever one you think you're going to start off with. Really, once you've enrolled, and at that point you're not really working with admissions any longer, it's mostly your academic advisor, it might be the registrar's office. It's really just determined by the number of credits that you sign up for, and then they kind of take it from there. I mean, you could probably talk to your academic advisor or the registrar's office, but it's mostly based off of the number of credits that you sign up for. 12 credits is the minimum that you have to stay full-time, be considered a full-time student. There's some great questions. Do I see another one? Ooh, dining dollars, express dollars, and flex dollars. I don't know all of these off of the top of my head. I know that student accounts, or I think actually you can, to get the best information about the meal services, you can contact college auxiliary services. I think you probably, looks like you found their website already if you have these terms. So I think it's CAS at plattsburgh.edu. It's college auxiliary services. They can define each of these a little more clearly for you, but basically I think it's broken down. Some of them are dollars that you can use, like, or dollars or swipes that you would use in like the buffet style dining halls. Some of them are places where you might do like a grab and go, like we've got like a little campus store where you can buy snacks and things, and then some of it is like retail, like that you can use towards the retail places on campus. But I would suggest contacting CAS can be a little bit more clear with those and differentiating those. Are classes ever taught by a student, or classes are never taught by students? We do have teaching assistants, but they do not teach. They strictly assist. It is always a professor that teaches the classes. Classroom size, I think if you mean like the number of students per class, depends. The average is probably about 22 students in a class. Some of the first, like some of the general education courses that, you know, like a freshman might take, or a transfer, depending on what you have coming in, The largest they would really get would be probably somewhere 40 to 50 people. So it doesn't really get much bigger than that, but for the most part, about 22 students in a class, and especially as you go throughout a particular program, your class sizes are probably going to narrow down quite a bit. You might end up in a class with like 10 people. Are labs and tutorials taught by students? No, I don't believe so. I think that's the same as the like conferences. No, I believe labs are always supervised by a professor. I would say if there's a concern about a particular major, you'll certainly contact admissions and they can look into something. But um, classes, and my understanding is everything that goes along with them is always faculty led. Are there any 24-hour study areas on campus? During finals, like during exam periods, the library will, I believe, turn into like a 24-hour study area. It's not every day of the year 24 hours. I think it's primarily around the final exam period, but they do have pretty extended hours. I mean, so you can go to the library at night, early in the morning, um, but so it's not always 24 hours, but during like the final exam period or midterms, the library I think will take on 24-hour study periods. Do we offer 24/7 computer use? I think that goes along with the library question. Again, probably not every day of the year, but during kind of the heavy like midterm and final exam periods, the libraries I believe are typically open 24 hours, so you'd have access to those resources. And even during the regular year, I mean, they're open late at night, they're open early in the morning. So, depending on the facilities that you need to be able to use, you may actually be able to access them with the permission of your department and campus security. So you should always be able to access everything that you need. When do summer classes start? Summer classes are divided into 3 different sessions. The earliest one starts end of May. I want to say it's like the 22nd or 26th. 26th, I think, of May. Okay, I think those are all of the questions. So, all right. I don't see anything else coming in, so I'm going to sign off for now. If there's anything that you want to follow up on, please feel free to contact me, contact admissions. Due to the coronavirus situation, most of our employees, as they are at all the other SUNY schools and most schools across the state, are working remotely. So probably the best way to contact us for the time being will be through email. You can always email admissions@plattsburgh.edu. My email address is, I'm actually going to type it into the chat here. So it's kduff006@plattsburgh.edu. It's right in the chat there, so feel free to contact me with anything you want to follow up on. Will this situation affect student numbers for the fall term in terms of placements, class sizes, in terms of projections? Honestly, I don't know yet. I'm not really sure how that's all going to play out. I think right now we're just kind of operating under the assumption that things are going to kind of be returning to normal, hopefully within the next couple of months. So that's how we're operating for now. I have not heard of any changes that are going to take place for the fall semester. If there is anything that you need to be aware of, I'm sure they will communicate that to you. For the moment, and again, yes, things are changing quickly, but for the time being, we are operating as though things are going to be, kind of returning to normal within a couple months. The one thing it has affected for now that you would probably just want to be aware of, and again I typed it into the chat, is that the deposit deadline for fall got pushed back to June 1st instead of May 1st, so you've got a little more time. Okay, I don't see anything else, so I am going to sign off for now. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Hopefully this was helpful. If there is anything that you want to follow up on, again, please feel free to contact me at the email that I put in the chat. That's my email, or you can always contact admissions@plattsburgh.edu. We are still working, even if we are not physically on campus. We are still working, keeping things rolling. Okay. You're welcome. Yes, enjoy. Have a safe week. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Hopefully we'll see you on campus soon. I can figure out how to turn this off.